Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the Home Weather Office on this Monday morning. It is now the 9th day of December, 2024, and this is the morning briefing coming from the Home Weather Office. And as I look out the window of the Home Weather Office, here it's bright and sunny, but there is a bit of fog in the valley, some areas of that rather dense fog. I'll show you that on the satellite here in just a second. That's rather typical for this time of year, and I usually look at fog season as being from roughly Thanksgiving to about Valentine's Day. Not that we don't have fog before that or after that, but it's in that window when we have the longest nights and the coldest nights that we do tend to have the fog that can be thick and stick around for quite a while, and we have some of that this morning. So I'll show you that on the satellite, but also look ahead toward the end of the week, and it does look as though we are finally going to get back into the rain and snow that we've been desperately needing, especially in the Sierra. So I'll show you the latest thinking on that. And right now, anyway, keep your fingers crossed. It's looking kind of promising. So let me show you what's happening this morning. Just as the sun is coming up on the satellite anyway, you can see the fog as the sun hits it here. During the night, it doesn't show up all that well on the infrared, but as we switch over to the visible, you can see that there is much more in the way of fog up and down the valley, especially south of Highway 50. To the northern end of the valley, it's a bit clearer, but a lot of fog. Saw that Matherfield was down to a quarter-mile of visibility, and same thing in Stockton and Modesto airports. That will slowly scour out from north to south, but I would think that from Merced County to the south, it may take a while. It may not be gone until late morning or so, because there isn't going to be much wind down here to stir things out. There is a little bit of a north wind in the northern end of the valley to help keep these areas clearer, but once you get south of the Delta into the San Joaquin Valley, that's where you do have the best chance of having that fog stick around throughout much of the day. And then in the Sierra, a little bit of snow up in here. The snowpack is okay for this time of year, but we really do need more, and it does look as though this pattern is finally going to change. I say finally. I think it's just for people like me that like to watch the weather, that are thinking that it's been dry too long. But this is rather typical for this time of year to get into these dry spells. Well, it happens anytime throughout the course of the winter. So let's take a look at the 500 millibar chart. And as we are going through the next day or so, what we have here is this big ridge of high pressure. We have light winds. We have storminess off to the east. We have a little system off here to the west. But this is our dry pattern. That keeps us dry today. That keeps us dry on Tuesday and into the day on Wednesday. And you see this little system out in here. This goes by, and then there's a little one that goes by behind it on Thursday. This should be Thursday. Yes, this is Thursday. All right, now I'll show you this on the models in just a second. Some of the models are indicating that we'll get some rain and snow out of this. But what usually happens, let me back up another couple of frames. What usually happens is when you have the big ridge like this, the air is very dry under it. And what usually happens is it takes a system like this one going by to produce, well, little or no precipitation. But what it does do is it, as we called it in the weather office quite often, it opens the storm door. Kind of think of it as like a fullback in football. This goes through the line, and so that it opens up the door for systems coming in behind it that can be more productive, like this one that is scheduled for Friday night and into the day on Saturday. And that really changes the overall pattern to bring in what we call more zonal flow, so that systems coming off the Pacific can come into California without running into that big ridge. And there's another one that may be going by. This should be somewhere around next Tuesday. Yeah, so a nice little pattern change here, which will eventually get us into some rain and snow. All right, let's start with the shorter term, and we'll go with the NAM here. And I'll show you, this is Tuesday morning with very light gradients. We'll likely have more fog in the valley, and probably again on Wednesday. This is Wednesday morning. Again, the gradient very light in the valley, so I would think we'll see more fog in the valley, especially in the San Joaquin Valley. Now, this is the NAM showing Thursday. This is Thursday morning, a nice little area of rain up here, and then as we get into Thursday afternoon, it falls apart. So this is what I think is probably a pretty reasonable solution. There could be some showers on Thursday, especially north of, let's say, Sacramento County, north of the Delta. But so the NAM is really making that thing fall apart. I'll show you the GFS in just a second, but the GFS is much more robust with this. But usually, as I said, these initial systems, because the air is so dry, they do tend to fall apart, which is why I think this solution is reasonable. It may be a little bit underdone, but I don't think that we're going to see much out of Thursday. All right, so let me show you the way that the GFS is showing that. So this is the same thing with the GFS. So this shows much more in the way of rain and snow. I say much more. I think this is only spitting out about 1/10 of an inch of rain and maybe a couple of inches of snow. But certainly this looks a lot different than this. Let me back these up so that they're at the same time. This is 12Z Thursday. So this is the way the NAM shows Thursday morning, and this is the way the GFS shows Thursday morning. I think the GFS is overdone, and maybe the NAM is a little bit underdone. But again, we shouldn't get too excited about the one on Thursday. Even with this, you notice there's not much of a pressure gradient, so this really wouldn't be all that stormy. Maybe we'd include a chance of showers on Thursday with some light snow in the Sierra. Now, as we get into the day on Friday, this is Friday morning. This is Friday at 4 p.m. This system looks a lot better. The pressure gradients start to tighten up a little bit, so it starts to turn breezy on Friday night. This is Friday night around 10 o'clock. We have rain, we have snow, we have some really nice snow, probably down to about 5,000 feet, something like that. This is Saturday morning. This is Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Showers in the valley, probably not a lot of rain. This isn't looking all that robust for the valley. Probably over the course of these few systems, we'd see less than an inch of rain. But this one on Saturday morning, we could wake up to a lot of snow in the Sierra, probably more than a foot out of this one. So we'd have chain controls and that sort of thing. Tapering off on Saturday afternoon. And then behind it, there would be another system, kind of relatively weak, maybe coming in on Monday night and Tuesday. Some of the models have been a little bit more robust with that one. Let me show you the precip accumulation, total precip accumulation. So out of all three of those, this shows Sacramento at about 9/10 of an inch, a quarter to a third of an inch of rain into Modesto. Into the Feather River Basin, 3 to 4 inches. Places like Grass Valley, 1 to 2 inches of rain. And then if you look at snow, I'll do this a different way with snow. I'll do 24-hour accumulation of snow. So we can take these one at a time. So again, keep in mind that this is the GFS, which I think is going to be overdone on Thursday. But this is the one on Thursday showing that over 24 hours, you get 8 to 10 inches of snow. Again, I think that one's overdone. And then in the 24-hour period ending on Saturday evening, this one shows more than a foot of snow, and some of the higher peaks it's picking up 2 feet of snow, with snow probably down to 5,000 feet. That's a detail that we can sort out. And then the one on Tuesday, that's showing just a couple of inches of snow. But that's going to be more promising in terms of finally getting into some productive snow for the Sierra. Of course, much needed to build up our snowpack at this time of year. And but it'll also cause a headache in terms of travel over the Sierra on Friday night and into the day on Saturday. I will have to see just how much we might see on Thursday. There's a chance we could even have chain controls up on Thursday. But of the three that I showed you, Thursday, Saturday, let's call it, and Tuesday, so, a week from tomorrow, the one on Friday night throughout much of the day, Saturday, that looks like the one that's the most robust. The models have been changing quite a bit over the last few days, but they're starting to come into alignment on this on the Friday night, Saturday. So we'll see how the models fluctuate a little bit more over the next couple of days, but that's at least the big picture so that you can plan around that. So again, to kind of sum up, for the valley, some fog again on Tuesday and Wednesday morning, maybe not so much on Thursday with that next system coming by. And then we will get maybe some showers on Thursday, but a better chance of rain Friday night and Saturday. If you work outdoors, especially if you're, let's say, south of Sacramento, I think you'll be able to get in work probably every day this week because even the rain on Friday doesn't look as though it'll come in until after dark. So for those that do work outside, have construction projects and that sort of thing, it should be a pretty productive week, even though apps will likely show that, Friday there's a 90% chance of rain or something. It's not, it's not that it's not going to rain on Friday, it's when it's going to rain. So that sort of thing. So that's everything I've got for you this morning. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.